Okay. So just next 10 minutes, I'll just go through the slide where everything that we discussed in the last session is mentioned here, right? So how to create sets in Python, right? So what is basically sets are used for? They're used to find, unique elements, and if you want to remove the duplicate elements, sets are the most useful. Also, set supports a lot of operations, mathematical operations, right? Union, intersection, difference, and most useful during data manipulation task. That means when you want to filter the data, extract certain data based on the operations, you can use this inbuilt mathematical operation supported by sets. So how to create the set? That is the first question, right? Okay, so sets are created using flower bracket, right? So, and most importantly, they are unordered, unchangeable, right? Unordered in the sense every time you print the output, it will be in the random order, and it cannot contain duplicate elements. That is the most unique feature of the sets. It won't allow you to store the duplicate elements, as you can see here. So 8433 and output is 834 only, and it is not ordered also. So set is basically unordered and don't allow you to store the duplicate elements. And unchangeable. Unchangeable in the sense when the set is already created, you can't modify the set like using the indexing. So here I'm trying to change the first index value to 10, and it is not going to work because item assignment is not supported by set. Okay. And similarly, set is not subscriptable. Subscriptable in the sense you can't access the element using the indexing. So only thing is you can access them, the entire set, or you can convert it into a list and access it using the indexing that is supported. And as I told you, unordered set is unordered. Every time you print, it will be in the random order. Okay. But you can add the elements to the set, right? Using the add function, set2.add, you can mention the element. Similarly, you can update the entire set with another list. This is possible. So update function will help you to add multiple values at a time. So this is add printing of the set. Similarly, for removing, what we are using, remove, discard, and pop. So remove method removes the specified element, right? So print set 3 and set 3 dot remove 1. So the first element, I mean the 1th element is deleted. Similarly, if you use the remove method, I think I discussed about the difference between remove and discard, right? So whenever you try to remove the element that is not existing, the remove method will throw an error, right? So remove throws error if the element doesn't exist, whereas discard method doesn't throw an error. Okay. So similarly, pop method is there. So pop method, what does it do? It removes the elements randomly from the set. So sometimes here you see 3 and 5, 3 is deleted. Next time if you remove, it might delete. So now set 3 is not defined because all the elements are deleted. So you have to start from here, then remove. Now discard 235, 200 is deleted. See now in this case, it has removed 2. Previously it had removed 3, right? So remove pop method will not remove based on the particular order. Randomly, it will remove the elements. Right. Now again, set can be created using the inbuilt method set function. Right. In that bracket, you can mention the another list which will be converted into a set. Okay, this is also possible. So important inbuilt set functions I have mentioned here. Hope you remember them. If not, please go through my in YouTube. I've uploaded the last module is there here. Set tuple dictionary basics. Just go through that. All right. Union operation means it will combine the all the elements from set 1 and set 2 by ignoring the duplicate. So intersection means, see here, 8457. So what is intersection? The common elements from set, both the sets, it will display. That is intersection. Difference of set means it will display the elements that are only in the first set and not in the second set, right? So you can see here, result 3 is printing 1, 2, 3. The reason being 4578 is available both in set 5 and set 6. So only the common unique elements from the set 5 it is displaying. So that is called as difference of sets, right? Similarly, symmetric difference means there is an important difference which I discussed. You have to use this power symbol. So it will display the unique elements from the both the sets, right? So what are the unique elements from the both the set? Again, 1, 2, 3 here. So 1, 2, 3. Here in this case, only 1, 2, 3 are the unique elements. If you compare with the both the sets, so only 1, 2, 3 is displayed again here. Suppose if I add 9 here, so you can check here, the output is 1, 2, 3, 9 because 9 is unique, 1, 2, 3 is unique, remaining all are duplicated. So similarly, you can check whether one subset is part of another subset by using each subset function. So we're checking whether the set 6 is the subset of set 5. So answer is false because it doesn't contain all the elements that are there in the set 5, correct? Similarly, we are checking for the superset, whether set 5 is a superset. So again, set 5 is not superset because 9 is not available in the set 5. So these are the some of the important operations supported by the inbuilt method set. And you can see here no limit to the parameters. That means you can add as many values to the function as possible. Immediately. So immediately if I add, students will not even attend the session. They will not even see the video. So let them attend the session. Only after the completion of uh, 1 week sessions, I will upload. In that way, it is like some kind of reward for those who are attending the session. Okay, because say I uploaded long back, I think not many have gone through it. That's the problem with the students. They won't improve also. They won't attend session also. So yes, weekends I will upload. Anyway, only few 6 to 7 sessions are remaining. So let everyone attend the session, go through the problems, solve the problems. Then once this training is over, I will upload. So uploading is not an issue. Consistency is the issue here. That's the problem. Anyway, if you're attending the session, don't worry. While I explain, you can note down if you don't understand anything. See, always one thing I will suggest you guys, because no matter how many content you refer online, even my videos, until you type yourself, sit and practice on your own. Even my videos, how you have to learn is you have to open two tabs like how I opened here. On the right side, you have to open your own compiler. On the left side, my video. Whatever I am teaching here, you can see it, and on the right side you can close this one for temporarily and type your code and see where you are going wrong, right? So in that way you can improve your syntactical skills, understanding of the code. That's the right way of learning. So simply seeing watching the video won't help you guys. Until you sit and type yourself, you will improve your understanding of the topics, and you won't make mistakes while typing the code. And even though you make the mistake also, you will be easily able to understand where you are going wrong because you are habituated with that. So that is my first suggestion. Even when you are whatever video you are referring, not only mine, any online video if you're referring, it's always better to keep it side by side the video, and whatever they are explaining, you have to say it first, then without saying it, type it, then understand. Okay, you'll understand where you're going wrong. So that's the right way of learning. Anyway, right, so this is about set. Hope you remember that these topics. I'm going a bit fast because I already covered this thing in the last session. Those who attended it, they will remember it, right? So similar tuple means it is ordered again, unlike set, it is ordered, but it is unchangeable. Just like set, it is unchangeable, but it allows duplicates. And what syntax it is we using to create this normal bracket. So where tuple will be useful in general is for these applications. So when you want to return multiple values from the function, right? So tuple can store all the values in one variable. So that is a first advantage. And in reverse, if you want to talk, single variable can store multiple values. That itself is called as packing and unpacking, which we have already discussed in the beginning sessions, right? And tuples are immutable. Immutable means you can't change it. So that's why they can also be used as key for the dictionaries, right? Like for swapping variables, and they can also be used as a single key for the dictionary. These are the few applications of the main applications of the tuple, right? And as I told you, by default, Python reads the value in the tuple format. So even though you don't mention the bracket, by default, it reads the value in the tuple format only. Okay. So this also I think I've discussed. Suppose here you see, I have 10 as the value, which I'm storing in the variable TP2, but it is considered as an integer because it's a single value. So if I put an extra comma here, the compiler is considering it as a tuple, right? So tuple value should be separated by comma. Even though if there is a single value, you have to mention the comma so that compiler understand that it is not an integer value, it is a entire tuple, right? Similarly, you can't change the tuple value just like said by doing the assignment. So TP2 of 0 equal to 50, I am typing here. So this is not allowed. Direct modification of the index value is not allowed. And tuple supports the duplicates. That's what you're saying here. This is called as unpacking. Unpacking the tuple means, right? So you see TP4 has these many values. Then, so let's print N3 also. Okay. So unpacking we are doing. TP4 has these many values, and these values I'm storing only in these three variables, right? So this is called as unpacking. So storing the multiple values from this tuple to individual variables, right? So star, if I add it here, so what does it mean? So yeah, these inquiries you can do it personally, mine. When I'm teaching, only ask me related to the topic. Yeah. So star n1, when we say star n1, what does it mean? It will see how many values it can accommodate except these two variables, right? So n2 and n3. Yeah. So n2 is 30, n4 is, I mean, n3 is 40. All the remaining values will be put it in the n1, right? Suppose if I change it to n1 star n2, tell me what will happen. Guess the output, anyone? Yeah. So will it throw an error or will I get the output or not? So it will compare how many values it can store. N1 will be stored with only one value, that is 4, correct? And it will see except the last value, all the remaining values will be put into inside N2, and N3 will store 40. So similarly, if I add star here, so except 4, 7, all the remaining values will get stored in the last variable, that is N3. And what is the type of N3? What is type of N3? It is list, because it is storing all the remaining values. By default, compiler converts that variable into list. So this is called as unpacking the tuple, right? So you can just divide the entire tuple into individual variables. Okay, so this is what the tuple is. And as I told you, tuple supports only two functions. What are they? Count and index. Only count and index. It doesn't support any other functions. Okay. So count is used to count how many times the value is repeated, and index is used to find out the first occurrence of that element in the tuple, right? So here count 3 is counting how many times 3 is repeated, as well as index of 3 is printing the first occurrence of 3 in the tuple, right? So what is the index of 3? The very first occurrence is 3, I mean 0. Suppose if I remove first value, okay, so now you can see the index, it is printing it as 7. That is the first occurrence of 3 is in the position 7, starting from 0, right? So only these two functions the tuple supports. And tuple doesn't have any other function. To just check it, I think I had used discard function on the tuple. And what is the error you are getting? Tuple object has no attribute discard, right? So discard, pop, remove, all this add, update, all these functions won't supported by the tuple. So let's try to add tuple 6 dot. add 10, right? So I'm trying to add 10 into the tuple. Again, you can see it doesn't have any attribute as that. So it doesn't support any other function apart from these two. So the only way you can, create a tuple is again, convert it into a list, add some elements, remove some elements, and again convert it back to tuple, right? So within direct tuple, you can't modify the elements, or you can convert it into a list and then do some operation and convert it back to tuple. That is allowed. Okay, so that's what I think I've explained here. Converting tuple to list, updating, and reverting back it to tuple again. So here list of tuple 6, then list one dot append grid, then we are printing it, right? So using tuple function, we are converting it back to tuple again, right? Here we're using list function, we convert it into list. Here again, after modification, we are converting it back again to tuple. So that is the only way you can modify the tuple. But tuple supports the direct operative using operator, you can modify it since it is not an inbuilt function, right? So here we are adding these values onto the existing tuple 500, 67, 5 and 64. That is possible because here we are not using any inbuilt function. So using plus, we are updating new value to the existing tuple. And as I told you, a tuple can contain list and a list can contain tuple. Both are possible. So here this is the list. These are the basic elements and this is a right tuple where we are printing that value. Similarly, list one of 4 dot index of B. So we are trying to access the index of B inside this fourth element, right? So that is 1. But if you see here, we're trying to insert grid at the second position again, which is not possible because this is tuple. Though this entire thing is a list, I'm trying to modify this ABC by inserting new element, that is grid. So this is also not supported, right? So we can change the element of the list inside the tuple, but we cannot modify the tuple value directly. I think this is what I discussed in the last session, right? So we can change the elements of the list inside the tuple. So here you see tuple has a list inside 1020. I'm trying to insert grid inside this 1020. So it is updated to grid 1020 grid. This is possible because this thing is a list, but you can't modify this 5 to 6, right? Suppose let's say tuple of 8 dot insert to Python. Okay, so you can now see I'm trying to add a Python in the second position in this list, in this tuple. This will not allow, but here it is allowing because third value is a list, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. So third value is a list. So we are trying to modify the list which is inside the tuple. So this is allowed. So you have to understand this syntactical, small detailing. Whenever you get error, this will help you to understand how to overcome the errors, right? Okay, so this is allowed. Okay, so you can convert list to tuple here, and you can also apply some basic operations on the tuple. Right here, you can revert the entire tuple using the reverse function. So these are the some of the operations from the tuple, right? So similarly, dictionaries, I think we discussed in detail. So dictionary is basically most important among all, right? Because the why the advantages, it will take very less space and time complexity compared to all other list, tuple, and set which we discussed. And list is basically based on what key and value pairs. So there will be key and corresponding for every key there is a corresponding value will be there. And most importantly, keys should be unique. So you can't contain duplicated keys in the dictionary. So every dictionary should have a unique keys. Values can be duplicated. Suppose there is a roll number with which we have a same name. Multiple students might have same name, but their roll number should be unique. That is what example I had given in the last session. So it is similar to that, right? So where exactly the dictionaries should be used, right? Basically fast data lookup. Fast data lookup means since we know what is the key that we are looking for, so we need not to iterate over the dictionary one by one. Based on the key, we can directly go to that key and access the value. So that is the advantage of the dictionary. So fast data lookup is the first advantage. And grouping multiple data based on keys, that is the second advantage. So here I've given the example here. So for each roll number, there can be a multiple subjects, right? So student can learn multiple subject, but for that multiple subject, there should be unique roll number, right? So grouping of the data based on the keys can be done. For configuration settings, generally they use the dictionaries only, right? Transforming code to description. I will show you the example. Mapping, again, key and value pair is nothing but a mapping. Cache and memorization techniques. So this comes in the problem solving. So whenever I take some problem, I'll just explain this how dictionary helps in you, helps to improve the memory efficiency by using the memorization technique. So you can just remember this application and remind me in the later on sessions. So how memorization technique will help you to overcome the time complexity issues. So this is the example which will tell you about configuration settings. So here you see every website has some host, some port, right, some debug options, right? So here I am just creating a dictionary with this. These are called as keys, and on the right side these are called as values, and every key should be embedded inside the single quote or double quote. And until the last key we have to separate them with the comma operator. The last key value pair should not be written with the comma. So here if I enter comma, I think yeah, so there is no issue here. So multiple key value pair should be separated by comma, right? So here you can see a dictionary, subject code, college code, right? So dictionary also doesn't allow duplicate values of keys, right? So keys cannot be duplicated. So here code is repeated two times, but it is only considering the last updated one. So 134 and 345, which one is printing on the screen? 345 is printing. So dictionaries won't allow duplicates, just like set. But let's see here. I will write code 2. Here I'll write 134. This is allowed because though value is same here, 134 and 134, but the keys are different. So this key is code and this key is code 2. That's why I'm getting the output code 134 as well as code 2 134. So values can be duplicated, but keys cannot be duplicated. Even though you write it, the compiler ignores the duplicate key. So similarly, how to access the single key value pair using indexing. So mention the dictionary name in the subscript option, write the key value. So what is the key value I'm looking for? Sub, and it is printing the that particular value. Similarly, you can use the get method. So d1 dot get in the bracket pass the key value of the dictionary, right? So these two are the way to access the individual key values. Similarly, I can update the dictionary directly, unlike a tuple and set. Here we can modify directly. So here I'm trying to modify the key code value. Suppose I'll update it with something else, right? So here I'm modifying the code value to 123 456. So it got updated here. Initially 134, it got updated to 123 456. Similarly, a dictionary key can contain multiple values, right? Multiple values in the sense, see, for each key they can be associated with multiple subject, right? So subject Python, DS, Java. So inside the set, I have passed these values and stored in this key. So that's why for subject, there are three options, whereas for the remaining keys, there is only single value. Now, this is most important in dictionary where many students make mistake here only. How to access the key values from the dictionary, right? So the first way is to just print them directly using the indexing. So for I in D1, print D1 of I. So it will only display the values, not the keys. So for I in D1, print D1 of I means it is only displaying the values from each, right? That is the basic way. Suppose if I want to display only keys, right? So just remove the indexing, just print I. So for I in D1, print I, this will only display the individual keys from the dictionary. Now similarly, if I want to display the values without using the indexing, the another way is d1 dot values. This is also an inbuilt function. So values method that you can use it to print the values from the keys, right? Now, if I want to general way of using dictionaries, both has to be printed, right? So in order to display both key and value pair, you can use d1 dot items. So the dictionary name dot items, that item function will display both key and value information. So here for I and j, I is accessing the keys and j is accessing the values. So separated by space, I am printing all the key and value pairs for each key, right? So similarly, if you want to update the dictionary with a different set of values, you can use the update, right? So one way of updating you saw is using indexing. Suppose if you don't like indexing, you can use the update method. uh, Change the whatever the key value you want to change, or if you want to add new key value pair also, you can add it here. If it doesn't exist, it will add it as a new value. If it exists, it will update it to whatever the updated value you are mentioning here, right? So similarly, to display, I mean to delete the key from the dictionary, you can just use pop method. D1 dot pop, mention the key value name, so it will just delete that particular element. Okay, so you can see D1 dot pop of city is displaying Hyderabad because that's the key that we are removing. So if you don't want to use pop, the another option is delete keyword del. So del space D1 of what is the key that you want to delete, right? So I'm deleting college here. So college got deleted. So similarly, if you want to create a dictionary using the inbuilt function, so you have dict method for on which you have to pass the key and value pair separated by equal to symbol. So here separated by colon, but in the dictionary method, you have to separate them by equal to symbol. That is the difference you need to observe. So name equal to be H23 section C. So here you can create the same type of dictionary using dict method. So this also you can use it if you like it. And if you want to just display the keys directly, s1 dot keys, that will display all the keys inside the dictionary. Okay. So these are the some of the basic things I think I have discussed in the dictionary. So continuing with that, what else we need to know in the dictionary, and what are the remaining things that we can update using dictionary, right? So that's what we are going to learn in today's session. Okay, so this is where I wanted to continue from today. So deleting single value from multiple key value pairs. That is the question. Okay, so this one you guys need to interact based on whatever I've taught till now. So let us first create the dictionary, or I'll just take the dictionary from here. Okay, so let us update this dictionary subject with, how will you write it? I want to add new subjects. Tell me. I want to add Java and data structure here. How to do it? Anyone? Subject has to be updated with new values. Yeah. Take your time and let me know what is that you want to write. How will you add new values from the new values to the existing key? No one knows it, or you forgot it? Okay, so Vijay Chandra is giving the answer. Let me just copy his answer, whether it works or not. Okay, so now the subject got updated to Python, Java, and DS. Very good. So now the question is, what we want to do, what I want you guys to do is deleting single value from multiple key value pairs. Okay, so now I want you guys to remove DS, right? I want you guys to remove DS from the subject key, right? So it has three values, Python, DS, and Java. I want you guys to remove this DS. How to do it? See here, I'm trying to print D1. That's why the output is a bit different. So yeah, this is the correct output. So how will you remove DS? Python and Java should exist and DS should be removed from the existing key. What method you have to use it to remove the DS? So the question is remove DS from subject key. That is the question. So there are three methods, right? Remove, delete, pop. So if you use pop, just see, you can use pop, right? DL keyword you can use, yeah. So if you use pop, how will you use it? I want each of the answers, right? So some people are telling pop, some people are telling delete, right? So first one is remove, right? So I will show you using remove. So what is my dictionary name? D2, right? And inside D2, what I have to pass? Since I want to remove only DS from this subject, right? So I have to pass that subject key, right? So D2 of sub dot remove. So what I want to remove? I have to remove the element is DS. Then after this, I want to print the D2. Let's check whether it works. Okay. Now this is working. So now you guys can try it same way. How to do it using, so same thing. I want you guys to try it using pop and DL keywords, right? These two are there. If you're using pop, is it possible? If you're using DL, is it possible? So DL, I think I showed you somewhere here. I think in the tuple I showed you, but you can use. Okay, so let's try the pop D2 dot pop. Before that, I have to delete this, otherwise it won't work. Or else before this only I will do. So D2 dot pop. What do you have to mention? TS. Will it be enough? This will not work, right? Because you're not mentioning the index number of subject, right? So inside this, I have to mention the index number or the name of the key, not index number, name of the key. So what is the problem here? Pop does not take the value itself as the reference to delete. So inside pop, you have to mention the index number. So let's see to see here. It is working, right? So that is how you need to learn. What is the syntax of pop is pop accepts only the index number. It doesn't accept the value itself. Whereas remove accept the value directly through which you can easily remove it without much confusion. So pop will accept the index number, whereas remove will accept the element itself. But first two statements are same. Now similarly, how can you do it using delete method? Does dictionary supports delete method? Yeah. Does dictionary supports delete method? Did you explore? So see, already the element is deleted. So pop index out of range it is showing. If I rerun it once again, so I'll just come back to this cell, run it once again, and again rerun it. We'll get the output. If I run this again, this will give value error because it is already removed by this pop method. Okay, both are possible. So this is using remove method, whereas this we have done using pop method. Okay, using DL keyword, how you can do? So now, similarly, you can delete Java from the subject list. So using DL method. Yeah, Sumit is given the answer. So DL, D2, you have to mention the key name, subject, followed by index number. Index number is 2 or yeah, in this case, Java I want to delete means index number is 1. So after this, let us print the dictionary. Okay, so this is also working. So here what we have done, we have deleted the Java from the subject list using DL keyword, right? So three functions are possible. So whatever you can understand to delete the key values, right? So any one function you can use it for your understanding. So generally I use this remove method because I have a direct reference of the value. So if I know the value, I can directly use it, and it will help me to delete it. So if I don't know what is the key value and how big the key value is, I can use the pop method and mention the index number. That is also possible. So somebody said pop deletes the last element, right? So that is also true. Suppose let me just use d2 dot pop. Hmm? So pop expected at least one argument got zero. So you see, sometimes it's very confusing. So if in the list and in the set, when you use pop function, by default it will delete the last element. That is exactly true, as Ken said here. Pop deletes the last element. That is true in the case of set and list. Whereas when it comes to dictionary, you can't directly use the pop without mentioning the parameters. Yeah, that is possible. You can put it in the another variable. So let's see. Okay, so you can see ma Dhanush Dhanush Verma. So I have extracted DS and stored it in VAR, and that I am printing here. So it is possible. So pop means it is deleting. If you want to store it in some other variable, you can assign it to another variable, right? That is allowed. But please understand the difference here. In the case of dictionary, the pop method has to accept at least one argument. You can't put an empty pop in the dictionary case, right? So whereas if you see pop in list Python, okay, see here in list pause, pop parameter is optional, right? So you can not mention any values. If you don't do that, it returns the last element. Whereas in pop in dictionary, right? See here. So dictionary pop is different, key value and default value. So key of the name you want to remove, and default value is optional. A value to return if the specified key does not exist, right? This is the different thing. So but at least one argument is required. Key name is required. That's what the description says. So syntax understanding is very important. So if the parameter is not specified and no item with the specified key is found, an error is raised, right? So that's what we are getting the error here. We are not specified the parameter. Suppose if I'm trying to pop some index, say for example, how many keys are there here? 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. Three keys are there, right? So suppose if I mention pop of 5, and if the element doesn't exist, so I'll say no element, no value, no key pair exist. Okay. So now it is not throwing any error, right? Because value to return if the specified key do not exist. Now I'll try to store this inside another variable. Then here, instead of printing the dictionary, I'll display that value. Okay, so what is the output I'm getting? No key pair exists. So since there is no index 5 available in the dictionary, it is returning the default value. So if you don't mention the default value, then it will throw an error, right? So that key error 5 it will throw. Okay. So if I mention 2, 0, 1, okay. Okay, sorry. Here variable two I am trying to print. No? So print to D. Yeah, sorry. Key error is coming because I have not mentioned the valid key. Okay. So what are the valid keys? Right? Subject dot pop of two I am mentioned here. So here I have to mention what is the syntax. Key name I have to print mention. What I am typing here is two. So two is not the valid key. So I have to mention the, suppose if I'm mentioning the code two. Okay, now it will work because code two is a valid key. Right. So basically dictionary pop method accept the value that is a valid key value, right? So if you're mentioning the invalid key value, it will throw an error. Or if you mention some invalid key value, if you want to print error message, you can use the default. Okay, in this case, it will display the default method, default error message. Okay, so error message is getting printed. See again, this is different, bit different. Here, what we are trying to do here is this particular key is a list. Inside the list, we are using pop. So here I can mention the index, whereas directly I cannot mention the index here. So this difference you need to observe. D2 of sub is the key I already provided. In that key, I am trying to delete the second element. I mean, second index value. So here I can pass the index value, but here I was trying to pass directly the index value. That is not inside the key value. You can use the index value. Okay. So hope you got some clarity here. Any doubt here? Okay, so similarly, you can check if there is a key existing inside a multiple key value. If there is a multiple values exist inside a single key, right? So suppose if I want to again re-update this, so let me re-update it. Okay, so now subject is again re-updated. So what you can do is we can check whether a particular value exists in the key or not. So I'll check if Java in D2. So will it work or not? You guys need to tell me. So if Java in D2, what I can do is I'll just want to update it d2 dot or d2 of subject, or you can remove it. So remove Java, then I will print it. So tell me whether this code works or not. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm checking if Java exists in the dictionary as a key value, right? And if it exists, I'm trying to remove it. So now you can check, did it actually remove it? Why it didn't remove it? I tried to remove Java. Before removing, I'm checking if Java exists in the dictionary. Though it exists, it is not yet removed. What is the problem here? Again, I have to mention the key, right? So which key it is existing inside the subject key, right? So now it is removed. So this is how you can access the elements from the dictionary by carefully analyzing whether it is a single key or a multiple value key. So if I just mention for if Java in D2, it won't work. Similarly, if I mention if code in D2, so directly I can remove D2 dot remove, right? So D2 dot remove, what I can mention here is, so what is the remove method? It will accept the value, right? Let's check, will it work? So now it is telling dictionary object has no attribute remove, right? So why it is giving me that error? Here it worked, here it is not working. Are you able to get it? Why this kind of changes or why this kind of errors? Hmm? So you have to understand these functions carefully. So see here. So dictionary methods you can go through in detail. So is there any method called as remove here? No, right? So clear is there, copy is there, get items is there, key, pop item. Pop removes the element with the specified key, whereas pop item removes the last inserted key value pair, right? So if you just write car dot pop item, it will delete the last inserted item. But the question that I'm asking is remove worked here, remove function worked here, but the remove function is not working here. What is the reason? Just by seeing this list, you can check there is no supported remove function for the dictionary, right? But how did it work here? How did it work here? No keyword is given in the code for remove. Okay, no keyword is given. Okay, d2 dot code. Okay, let's check it. Very good. At least you guys are thinking. Again, int object has no attribute remove. Are you getting my point? D2 dot code remove will work. Vijay Chandra, Kirti, they gave me some syntax. The reason I am explaining like this is you will get a complete clarity on what is allowed and what is not allowed. So here, whatever you have mentioned, I am trying to use it. Still, it is not working. Correct? Now, somebody, I think, yeah, Sumit has mentioned the exact point here. So as per the Sumit, above remove worked on the list. Very good. See, remove method is supported by the list. So why it worked in this case is subject is a key, but it is not a single value. It is a list of values, right? So subject is a key which consists of list of three subjects. That's why remove method worked in this case for this particular key. Whereas here I'm trying to remove the code using remove method. Though I'm passing the exact key, I'm checking it, still it is not going to work because this is a single value, right? It is not a list value. That's why the error is int object has no attribute remove. Which is the int object? This code is an int object, right? So you have to understand carefully what is allowed and what is not allowed. Okay, code in D2 of code. Okay, let me try this also. Okay, this is also not allowed because see, code is a single value, right? Argument of type int is not iterable. That is the error message. What do you mean by this? Argument of type int is not iterable because code is a single argument. If I pass subject, it will work because subject is iterable. What do you mean by iterable? Iterable means where it has more than one value which we can access one by one, right? That is called as iterable data type. So here code is an integer value, whereas subject is iterable. So this is allowed, whereas this cannot be done, right? So hope you got some clarity. So I'll just for your clarity I'll mention here remove and what else? We tried delete, right? Remove and yeah, pop. Pop also we tried. Remove and pop works to delete elements, key values, right? To delete values from the keys only if, what is the condition? Only if the key is a iterable. That is the exact answer, right? So what is the normal way to delete? If without this, what is the normal way to delete? Only pop, right? So car dot pop model, right? You can directly pass the key value here. That will work. Okay. So not the sorry pop here. Instead of that, you have to mention delete DL keyword. So let's print what is our D2. Then if I directly use D2 dot pop item, D2 dot pop item, print D2, right? So what is it is removing? The last inserted key value is college grade. That value is getting deleted, right? So the last inserted pair. So pop is different, pop item is different. So you have to know the difference of these two functions. Okay. So you hope you got some clarity on this. For insertion, again, this is the general way, directly mention the value. Here I'm mentioning the multiple values at a time. Suppose if you don't remember as of now what are the multiple values, you can just use append function here on the dictionary. Append is supported by dictionary, right? So d2 of subject dot append. For example, I want to append with C++. So I can just update with append function. Okay, this is supported. So append is supported for individual key. Again, the reason why it is working is subject is a multiple key value. I mean, subject is a list basically. Similarly, if I want to update d2 dot append, or I can say d2 of code, right? So d2 of code dot append, I'll write 678. Okay. See, now again, this is not going to work because code is not a single value. Code is not a iterable value. It is a single value. So that also it's not going to help you to insert, right? So these are some of the things that you need to be very careful when you are working with the dictionaries, right? So d2 of code dot append is not going to help you. This will work because it is a iterable. Okay. One more way I want to show you. For example, if I want to update that subject, for example, you guys guess the output here. Okay, so tell me, uh, when I print the dictionary, what will be the output, probable output? So why is append 678 not working? Yes, that's what Shrikar. Here d2 of code dot append I'm trying to do. Code is not a iterable value. Code is a single value. Whereas subject is a iterable value, append function works on that. So to understand this again, just before trying anything with the dictionary, I suggest you guys to see the supported library files by the dictionary. That is the method supported by the dictionary, right? So is there any append function written here? No, right? There is no append function. So the you can't, use the append directly on the dictionary element, right? Update is there. So update is different and append is different. So with the update, how can you do? Car dot update, here color comma white colon white. So you can directly add key value pair using update function. But here what I'm trying to use append for this particular code key. It is not going to support because code is a single value. This will work because subject is a iterable value. So that clarity you should have before trying it. How can I add an extra? Yeah, that's what I'm trying. Using the append function. Using the update key. Update method, you can add the key value. Now, what I am asking here is, will it work or not? What I've typed on the screen, d2 of subject of 0 equal to operating system. Python will be replaced by operating system. Okay, so it is given the right answer. Okay, so this is called as a 2D indexing, right? You are using two indexes to update the key value. Suppose if all the previous things are confusing to you, you can directly use this 2D because subject is the key. Within that subject, I want to replace the 0th index value with operating system, right? So that's what we are trying to do here. This is supported without worrying about what method I have to use directly. You can use the indexing. If you want to add a single element, just use the update method, right? So update method is supported by the dictionary. So similarly, you can go through this some more values. Key, I think most of them I've discussed. From keys, I will show you now. Set default is there. See, what is set default means? 1 minute. Okay. So here you see, car dot set default model. So let's try to print this. See, it is displaying the Mustang because the value existing. Suppose let's remove this. If the key doesn't exist, it will create the key and assign the default value that you are mentioning here, right? So it created the key and assigned the default value that you are mentioning here. So that is called as set default. If the key exists, it doesn't worry. If the key doesn't exist, it creates the key and assigns the default value. Okay, so similarly, from keys is there. Okay, so just for your understanding, let's try some questions. Let us create some dictionary. How will you create it? Using the flower bracket followed by key and value pairs. Each key you can separate by. So it's not mandatory to write everything on new line. For your clarity, you can write it, or else you can write everything on the single line. So what is the college? Say, for example, GRIT. Then I'll try to use set default. Okay, so just write the output of this code. What will be the X value? Okay. So whatever it is returning, I'm trying to store it in X. So tell me what will be the output of this code. Okay. So yeah, already got few answers. Others think about it. Set default just now I showed you, right? Okay. So it will display grid only because the key exists. So let me comment line this. Now I comment line this college grid. Now it is displaying VNR, right? The reason being the key doesn't exist. It creates the key and assigns the default value. Okay. Then you saw there is a something called as from key, right? So from key can be used to for creating the key values from the another collection. Suppose I have some list here. Let's create a dictionary. So I can use DICT inbuilt function from keys. That is the inbuilt function for which I can pass this X list, right? Then let's see what it prints. Print day of 4. Okay. So what is happening here? It is displaying uh, 10 colon none, 20 colon none, 13 colon none. So basically it is creating the dictionary out of list. So the default value is none here. Suppose if I want to update every value with some other value, suppose 400. So what happened now? Or let's see, you can do like this. Suppose I have a list of students whose name is like Abhi, Anand, something like this. Arvind. Okay. So I want to mention for all the students, I want to create a dictionary and assign default value for which the college value should be grid, right? For all of them. So now this is how you can use the dictionaries, right? So for these students, using from key, I have created the dictionary out of the list by mentioning the default value as grid. So what does it mean? All the students belongs to grid college. So in that way, you can, even though you don't know what are the values that I have to use, you can create some default values. Later, if you want to modify, you can modify using update method, right? But uh, you can use from keys basically to create dictionary. That is the advantage of it. Similarly, if you want me to give some complex example, so let's see. Uh, Suppose if I have a tuple, right? So I have a tuple where I have a ph tuple as some value, for example, 10 comma a. This is called as a nested tuple. Within tuple, there is another tuple, right? So 20 comma b, something like this. So I can create a dictionary out of this, okay, by using dict method, inside which I will pass some variable, right? So let's say the variable names are ij or I comma j in tuplex. Tuplex is the name of the tuple. So let's try to print that. Okay, so what happened now? Using this nested tuple, we created the dictionary. So dictionary method is used for doing this task. Within dictionary method, we are passing this entire operation. Okay, so what we are doing, I and j, we are considering as the variable names. So 10 will be ith in a variable, and for values, we are using j index. So it is creating dictionary out of this tuple. So this is also possible. So in this way, you can just work with the dictionary concepts. Got it? Any doubt in the dictionary? Right, copy method, you can copy one dictionary into another one, right? So clear, copy, get, items, keys, right? Pop items, set default, update, and values. These are the only supported methods by the dictionary. So similarly, go through this reference, you can see Python, tuple method, set method, whatever is mentioned here, only those are allowed. So before doing any, you know, uh, problem solving, you should have a complete clarity on what is the error, what is allowed, what is not allowed. Definitely, you will be able to solve the errors by yourself. So any doubt till now, in terms of what is dictionary and all? Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so let's before going to the new topics, let's do some problem solving as I told you. So in every session, we will use this collection framework, that is dictionary, tuple, set, and list, and try to apply these concepts on some problems and how to effectively, utilize this existing methods and application of these particular topics in the real world problem solving, right? So from now on, some of the important questions I will try to give you in the remaining session so that you get used to those kind of questions and further explore. These are the kind of questions only you'll get in the product batch exam. Now, neither too difficult, not too easy. They're like average level of questions. So you need not to panic much. Just basic preparation is more than enough for you to get through. So I think product of two matrix, I think I have taught you guys, right? That is the one of the most important question. Every product batch exam, it is there. So if you just revise whatever video I uploaded, product of two matrices in Python, I think matrix multiplication, right? So this, if you try to revise from here, definitely directly 100 marks you will get. So many students are not doing it. Even last week, we gave one more last chance for your seniors to get into product batch, and the people asked the same question, and still many people couldn't cross. I mean, couldn't even get at least 100. The reason being the negligency and not revising enough, because they think matrix addition multiplication is a bit difficult in C and Java compared to Python. So the Python students were able to do it because, as I discussed already, it is hardly 7 to 8 lines code. So in Python, some questions will be easy. In Java, some questions will be easy. So on that situation, on that moment, what best suits you, you can use that language, right? So I can't say every time Python was only better. or only Java is better. So depending on the questions, certain logics will be easy to understand, certain logics will be difficult to understand, right? So you have to just crack that, on that moment, what is best for me. So you can apply your language based on the situation only. So no language is like best or worst. You can't say that. Okay, anyway, so I will explain few problems where which you can easily solve in Python compared to other languages, so that you get at least something you will get benefit out of these sessions. So these kind of problems you can try to solve in the Python only. Yeah. So the question here is the very common question that they give for assignments and even in the exam. Find single duplicate element in the array. Okay, this is the question. Find single duplicate element in the array. Okay, that means uh, all the remaining elements will be unique, whereas only one element will be duplicated. So you have to understand the test case. So what is the problem definition is, except one element, all other elements are unique. Correct. That is the basically problem definition. Only one element is duplicated, whereas all the remaining elements are unique, right? So how will you approach this problem in general? Suppose if you don't know this collection topics, you just keep comparing using for loop one by one, right? So you will take a list and store the elements inside it, and using for loop, you will keep checking. You will keep checking whether the element is appeared twice. If it is appeared twice, you will increment the count, right? Or you can set the flag value. So once you come out of the for loop, you will check if the flag value is set to true. If it is set to true, means that value you will print it as a duplicated element. That is a basic way, right? So what is another way? So another way is they will ask you to use list or tuple only. I mean set only. Tuple you can't use it because we have a set concept where it will not allow duplicate elements itself. So set becomes much easier to use it in this case. So traverse the list, update, append the unique, and print the element which is duplicate. Yes, that is the basic way, right? So let's try to solve this a basic problem. The input should be, so you have to read a list of element. So just to revise, anyone can tell me how to read the list of numbers? What are the different way? So I'll give you the scenario here. Use the map function only. I want you guys to use map function. Okay. Read the input elements using map function only. Okay. How will you read? If you've forgotten, please recollect the way of reading the input elements. Integer elements, I mean. What is the way? List of, map of, int comma, input dot split, right? So this is a common syntax each one of you should remember, correct? So if you forget it, then you are not learning properly. So I think I spent a lot of time on explaining what are the different ways of reading the input, right? So please recollect that particular module. I think where is that? Yeah, here. The in the video, fourth video, you can see in the playlist, map, eval, function, list comprehension, and the problems. So in this video, you will get all the different ways of reading the list value from the user. Okay. So first thing is using map function, pass the data type, read the value separated by space, and convert the entire thing into list. Correct. So that is the first step. Okay. So I'll take another variable called as result. Then I will just initialize the set. So when you create a empty set, you want to create an empty set, you can just use set of empty bracket. So this will create an empty set. Okay. So please remember this. So don't think that this is a tuple. So tuple, for tuple we are using bracket, right? So why are you using bracket here? You can ask me. But by the name of the function, you have to understand that we are creating an empty set. For example, just print set. Okay. So it is creating an empty set, or I'll just print result. Input dot split. What is the error here? List of map, comma, input. Okay, what is missing here? Can anyone tell me? What is missing here? Yeah, very good. So this is what, whenever you make mistake, you should come out of that error by understanding the syntax, right? Okay, let me enter some values. Okay, so I'm trying to print that result, right? So initially, if it is empty, it will just print that as it is. So this is the empty list, we empty set we say. Okay. Similarly, you can create empty list also, print a list of, right? See, this will create only bracket, print tuple. Okay, print dictionary. So you understand what brackets are used for what collection. For set, we use this. So now you can ask me, sir, why for set it is displayed like this, and why for all other things it is displayed with the corresponding brackets? Can anyone tell me what is the reason behind it? Only for set, we are getting that set function name as the output. Tuple uses, okay. What does set use? Set use flower brackets, right? No, you are not getting my question. How will you create that set basically using flower brackets, right? Yeah, Raghu has given the correct answer because set and dictionary both have flower bracket, correct? So compiler will get confused which one to consider. So that's why to just have that difference, for set, compiler displays set of bracket, whereas for dictionary it is displaying the flower bracket. Okay, so this is the way you need to understand the differences. Sometimes these are the very minor things which you need to observe whenever you get the error, right? When you have clarity, you will only solve your errors, right? So that is a good answer, Raghu. Okay, so like this, you should test before doing any problem solving. Okay, so continuing with the question. Now I have just created the empty set. Whenever I want to use it, I will just use it by the name of the set, right? So first step is iterate over the array, correct? So what I will do is I'll keep on adding the elements into the set. Okay. We are trying to solve this problem using the set. So think in that way only. This can be solved using normal for loop also by using the count flag, any other way because it's a simple question. So for each element that is there in the list num, right? I am checking if that value existing in the result, right? This is what we are checking. So for each element in the num, if I in result, okay, if I in result, okay, this is what we trying to print. I then I want to break. Let me just complete the logic, then I will explain. So suppose if this condition is false, what I will do is result dot add of I. It's a very simple logic. Okay. So you need to understand how this is working with the help of set. So let's read some values. So what is the duplicate value you want to consider? For example, 4. So except 4, all other elements are unique. So let's try to print the value, right? So now you are getting the duplicate element as it is. But you can see how we are taking the help of set to do this work. So why we are using set in this case is, so when you are first checking for the number 1, right? So it is not yet present in the result. So this if condition will be false. So we'll go to the else block. Then we'll update that result set with the I. That is 1 is getting added to the set. Similarly, 2 is not there in the result. So 2 gets added. 4 is not there. 4 gets added. 5 is not there. 5 gets added. Again, 3 is not there. 3 gets added. 6 is not there. 6 gets added. Now, when this I becomes 4 again, right? So when we are reaching the last value, so we are checking if that I is already existing in this set. right? So as you see, the I is already existing in the set here, right? So we print that I value and we come out of the loop, right? Then we print that whatever the element that we want to print, right? So using set, we are trying to do it here. Yeah, so that's what I'm telling. This is also one more way. So we can also store the set values after removing duplicated and do number minus result. So Ken has suggested one more solution. So that's what I'm telling. Using set, if you have to do means there are multiple ways. So this is a basic way. So I think this is other people can try whatever the Ken has suggested. I just wanted to ask what would be the possible solutions, other solutions. So what is according to him we have to do? We can also store the set values after removing duplicate. That means we just store all the values inside the. So let's try to do this in a different way. Okay, simple way is I'll take the result variable equal to set of num. Okay, so let me enter some values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4. Then okay, I have to print, right? Okay, so why it's not executing? Not trusted. Okay, so I think there is some issue with my kernel. Try here only. To just a minute. So sometimes your Jupyter notebook will not work. Just have to restart it. Okay, so it's reappeared. Okay, so you see, sometimes when it is not working, all that you have to do is just switch off the server and restart it. Okay, so what is the output I'm getting here? When I converting this set, I mean this list into the set, what it is doing basically, it is removing the duplicate element. Okay, then you can continue with what he's trying to say. And after removing duplicated and do nums minus result. Okay, let's try to do that. Nums minus result. Unsupported operand type. Okay, so you can't directly subtract that. So only thing that you can use is, yeah, very good. So we have to convert again this back to list. First we have to convert to set. Again, finally, you have to store it in the list format. Again, so the problem here, what is happening? Num is a list, whereas result is a variable, right? So I mean both are list only, but list doesn't support this minus operator, right? So what is the way you can keep them as it is? Again, this num you can convert it to set of num. Yes. Okay, nums, right? The name is num. Yeah, but I think this should work, right? Print nums of result. Okay, again, the problem here is what is happening here. You should understand. Since you are converting that set to now here, it also removes all the duplicate. So basically, you are doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So output is replacing it as, I mean, output is basically null. All the values are getting deleted. So the only way that you can do is you can just keep this nums as it is, right? Uh, Use the another or add those values into the list one into the set one by one. Whenever you are trying to add it, if there is a duplicate value, you have to stop it. So I don't think this union, what is minus operator in the set? I already told you here. What is minus? See here. Minus means difference of sets. So it is displaying the elements that are only in set 5 and not set 6, correct? So if you want it to be working, both of them has to be set only. So I try to do your logic, but again, you have to just change your approach a little bit. Think what else you can do it. Any other solution you can try, or any other approach you have, other people? Simplest approach is without using set. What is the simplest approach? Just use the for loop. Keep track of the count. Right. Suppose if you don't want, yeah, and that's what. This is what I was trying to tell. Whatever Nikhil is posted right now. Keep track of each value from the set, I mean the list, and you can check what is counted more than one. I mean if the element is appearing more than one, then you can break out of it, right? So yeah, here Nikhil is, this code will work, I think. Hmm. So this is a bit advanced code. I don't know, Nikhil Siddharth. Within one day you understood dictionary. Actually, I wanted to discuss this in the next class. Using dictionary also it is possible, but since you already suggested this code, others can, if they can understand, it's good. Okay, right. So here this will work using dictionary. So here we try to solve it using set. Here in this case using set. This is the basic approach. What this Nikhil has sent, the very simplest approach. And using set, this is the second approach. And this is using dictionary, third approach. But which one is better among all is, they, you can't say all are equal only because you are not using any extra time. In all the three approaches, you are using for loop only. So whatever approach you refer, it is good enough. But this is bit complicated in the initial level, because if the student can understand in detail about the dictionary, they can only see this approach, right? Here what they are using is basically empty dictionary they are using for everything. For I in X, if I in D, basically same thing. We are trying to check key value pair, just like this. For example, one one is the key, two is the key, three is the key. For each number, we are printing, we are storing the value as a count. One is appearing once, two is appearing once, three is appearing once, four is appearing two times, correct? So key and count we are printing here. We are storing in the dictionary. So we are updating if it is appearing twice, we are updating plus one to it. Then using list comprehension, he is checking for I comma j in d dot items if j is greater than one. See, why only J is using? Because J is keeping track of the values, whereas I is keeping track of the keys, right? So if J is greater than 1, that value you are extracting and printing here. But again, the problem 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. Right. So here, this is the exact question. There is only a single duplicate. Now, this approach is better when you have more number of duplicates, right? If there is only a single duplicate, you need not use dictionary and complicate your code. The problem with this code, I'll tell you. Here, you're using two loops. This is the first loop. This is again a second loop. Okay. So this is much more complicated than this one, and it takes more time than this one. Correct? If you talk about efficiency for this particular question, which approach is better, is this approach is the best approach because it is using iteration only once, whereas here you are iterating twice, one to create the dictionary, another to extract the key value that is appearing more than one, right? So like this you have to compare which one is the best suited for the given situation, right? So basically in general both will work, but if you talk about efficiency, the first approach is better compared to the dictionary approach. That's why I didn't want to teach this one, because it's unnecessary to create key value, then again extract the elements. So instead, you can just keep adding it. And if the element is appearing in the existing set, then that will be the duplicated element. You can come out of it. So you can try it. Can we do it using list? Okay. List object has no attribute called as add, right? So that means, where is list? So list doesn't support add method, right? So list methods. See here, do we have any add method here? So only thing is I can use add elements at the end of the list. So I can use append here. So let's use append. Okay, so this also will work you. I mean, even we need not use set also. Using list also it will work. Correct, because we are just comparing if it is already existing or not. This will work only for the single element. Yeah. Nitin also, yeah, this is a basic approach. Yes, right. But what Nikhil Chandra, right? Nikhil Chandra, who is that? Yeah, both Nikhil and Nikhil Chandra. So whatever you are giving here, if you could understand and do it for the problems that is required, then it is best. But for a simple problem, if you're complicating like this, means it is not a good way. Okay. Yeah. Now I think Nikhil has given you without iterating. Yeah. So now this is fine. So here within single loop he is using. So if d of I is greater than 1, print I. Okay. So this is fine. But this is extra thing. So that's what I'm telling. You guys need to analyze yourself. Am I doing extra iterations, unnecessary iterations? Is it feasible to do in this way? So like that comparison, that analysis is totally your mindset, your analytical skills. So nobody can improvise that until and unless you start thinking in that way. So those things come into picture only when you start solving. Okay. So like this, we will discuss problems in the coming sessions, right? So for time being, I will give one more question to you guys. Try to uh, do that. So find all the duplicate elements in the array. That is the next question. I think already this code is working with that approach using a dictionary, but I don't want you guys to use the dictionary. That is my suggestion right now. My next question for you guys is find all the duplicates in the array without using dictionary, because you already solved here and you understood what is the comparison, right? You can use set or you can use for loop, anything that you want to use apart from dictionary, you can use it. But don't use dictionary for that. And let me see in the next session how many of you can understand and come up with your own analysis why you are using that. I will also ask why you use that particular approach only. Okay. So like this, I'll give the questions also. So for practice purpose in the Moodle right now, you need to solve the problems by yourself in the lab, and your mentors are having external exams. So mentors will not be available for next 1 or 2 weeks. So whatever question if I'm adding in the Moodle, so today I won't add any question. 1 or 2 days I'll update the questions in the Moodle, right? So once I update it, I'll post in the group also. So just practice, revise whatever I covered till now. Then once I add the question based on set, tuple, and tuple, I think I already added. Set and dictionary questions I am making. I will add it once they are done. That time you can practice on yourself. Don't depend on any mentors or something because they are not available. Okay, but your practice should continue. If needed, you just come and meet me if you have any problem, if you're not understanding. But discuss among yourself and try to solve the problems in the lab sessions. Okay. So we will see you day after tomorrow, and the topics for day after tomorrow will be functions. We have to start functions, inbuilt functions. A lot of varieties of methods are there which we can apply based on our need, right? So how to create functions in Python, just like C. Then there is an important concept called as lambda expression. So lambda expression I'll be discussing. Then I think random function also I just introduced. So in the next session, we will be seeing Python functions, lambda expressions, and random module. Okay. So I'll see you in the next session. Keep practicing. Thank you.